"You still haven't said it, human. Do you love me or not?" she whispered through tears. First contact of hearts. The horizon dawn cut silently through the darkness of deep space, its sleek hull reflecting the distant stars like a polished mirror. Commander Lyra Novik stood at the observation deck, her fingers tracing invisible patterns on the reinforced glass. 3 years into their exploratory mission, and the vastness of space still stole her breath away. "Still stargazing, Commander." Lieutenant Delacroix's voice broke through her reverie. Lyra turned, a slight smile touching her lips. "Someone has to appreciate the view, Ryan. Might as well be me." "The HFY ambassador will dock in 30 minutes. Thought you might want to prepare." Lyra nodded, her expression shifting to the measured calm she'd perfected over years of command. First contact with the HFY had happened 6 months ago, but this would be the first diplomatic envoy to board a human vessel. The significance wasn't lost on her. "I'll be ready," she said, casting one last glance at the stars before following Delacroix to the reception area. The airlock hissed open precisely on schedule. Lyra straightened her shoulders as the ambassador stepped through, and immediately fought to keep her expression neutral. The HFY stood nearly 7 feet tall, with iridescent skin that shifted between deep blue and violet. 4 eyes positioned in a diamond pattern-tracked movement with unsettling precision, and a crown of sensitive tendrils framed a face that was almost, but not quite, humanoid. But it was the low hum of energy that surrounded him that made Lyra's skin prickle with goosebumps. "Commander Novik," the translator pinned to his elaborate robes converted his melodic language to English. "I am Thalion, envoy of the High Council. I bring greetings from the HFY Collective." Lyra extended her hand before remembering the briefing. The HFY considered physical contact intimate. She quickly converted the gesture into a formal bow. "Ambassador Thalion, welcome aboard the Horizon Dawn. We're honored by your presence." Thalion's upper eyes narrowed slightly, curiosity or suspicion, Lyra couldn't tell. His lower set remained fixed on her face. "You humans fascinate us," he said, his voice carrying harmonics that made the translator crackle. "So young, yet reaching so far beyond your world." "We're explorers by nature," Lyra replied, gesturing toward the corridor. "Would you care for a tour of our vessel?" As they walked, Lyra noticed Thalion's tendrils shifting constantly, as if tasting the air. She recalled the briefing notes. The appendages were sensory organs that detected electrical impulses, emotions, and something the xenobiologists had clumsily translated as spirit resonance. "Your crew respects you," Thalion observed as they passed the engineering section. "Their patterns shift when you speak. It's harmonious." Lyra smiled despite herself. "That's a kind assessment. We've been through a lot together." "And yet you carry solitude like a companion," Thalion said, his 4 eyes focusing on her with such intensity that Lyra felt her chest tighten. "It's common among leaders, but pronounced in you." The observation was too intimate, too accurate. Lyra redirected. "I understand the HFY value collective harmony. Your civilization has achieved remarkable stability." "At a cost," Thalion replied, his tendrils rippling. "We sacrifice what you humans prize most, your individualism, your passion, your chaos." He paused before a viewport, gazing at the stars. "It is both your weakness and your strength." Something in his tone made Lyra wonder if she'd missed something in translation. "And what do the HFY prize most, Ambassador?" All 4 of Thalion's eyes turned to her. "Truth, connection without deception." His tendrils extended slightly toward her. "You humans hide so much, even from yourselves." Over the following weeks, diplomatic meetings blended into cultural exchanges. Lyra found herself spending more time with Thalion than protocol required. There was something compelling about his directness, his alien perspective cutting through human pretense like a laser through fog. "Your Federation wishes to establish trade routes through our territory," Thalion said during one evening meeting in Lyra's quarters. "Yet your instructions are to assess our defenses and technologies." Lyra stiffened. "That's classified information." "Perhaps to humans. To me, your conflicted energies speak clearly." His tendrils rippled. "You disagree with your orders." "My opinions are irrelevant," Lyra replied, falling back on years of discipline. "I serve Earth Federation." Thalion moved closer, his skin shifting to deeper violet. "Among my people, hiding one's truth is considered a violence against connection." Lyra looked away. "Then your people must find humans very violent indeed." "Not violent," Thalion corrected, his voice softening. "Wounded. You protect yourselves because you fear vulnerability. And the Vesharai don't. We see vulnerability as strength. It is the foundation of true connection." His tendrils reached toward her, stopping just short of contact. "May I show you?" Lyra hesitated, her training screaming caution while something deeper urged her forward. What would that entail? Simply stillness and openness. Thalion's 4 eyes watched her carefully. "I will share my resonance with you. It is intimate by our standards, but not invasive." Against her better judgment, Lyra nodded. Thalion's tendrils extended fully, surrounding but not touching her face. The air between them seemed to vibrate, and Lyra gasped as a wave of sensation washed over her, not thoughts or images, but pure emotion. Wonder, curiosity, respect, and something else, something that made her heart race. When it ended, Lyra found herself breathless, as if she'd run miles. What was that? "The beginning of understanding," Thalion said, his usual formal tone replaced with something warmer. "You humans call it many things. Empathy, connection." "Dangerous," Lyra whispered, but couldn't bring herself to step away. "For both our peoples." Thalion's skin rippled with patterns she was beginning to recognize as amusement. "The best connections often are, Commander Novak." That night, alone in her quarters, Lyra reviewed the mission parameters with growing unease. The Federation wanted more than diplomatic relations. They wanted strategic advantage. And the Vesharai, with their ability to sense emotions, would know the moment negotiations turned insincere. They would know the moment she betrayed Thalion's trust. Her communication panel blinked with an encrypted message from Earth Command. Orders, no doubt. Lyra stared at it for a long moment before making a decision that would change everything. For the first time in her career, she left it unread. Unspoken truths. The days following Thalion's midnight visit left Lyra in a state of constant tension. Every diplomatic meeting with Ambassador Zethral felt like navigating a minefield. One wrong step, and everything would collapse. Lieutenant Delacroix had noticed her distraction, but knew better than to press for details. "The Vesharai delegation has requested access to our propulsion schematics," Delacroix reported during their morning briefing. "Standard procedure for establishing mutual technological exchange," they claim. Lyra's fingers tightened around her data pad. "Denied. We haven't reached that level of trust yet." "Commander," Delacroix lowered his voice, "Earth Command is pushing for quick results. They're not exactly pleased with our pace." "Then they can come negotiate themselves," Lyra snapped, immediately regretting her tone. "I'm sorry, Ryan, this situation is complex." "This wouldn't have anything to do with the junior ambassador's sudden reassignment, would it?" Delacroix's expression remained carefully neutral, but his eyes held understanding. Lyra hesitated, weighing trust against protocol. "What makes you ask that?" "With respect, Commander, I've served with you for 3 years. You've been different since he left." Delacroix shrugged. "And security footage showed him entering your quarters the night before his departure." "You've been watching security footage of my quarters." Lyra's voice dropped dangerously. "I erased it," Delacroix replied calmly. "But others might not have. Whatever's happening, you're not alone." The weight of his loyalty struck Lyra with unexpected force. "Thank you, Ryan, that's more than I deserve." We're explorers, Commander. Sometimes that means exploring feelings we didn't expect to find. He gave her a small smile. The Vesharai might be telepathic or whatever, but humans can be perceptive too. Later that day, as negotiations dragged into their fifth hour, Ambassador Zethral's tendrils suddenly went rigid, a reaction Lyra had never witnessed before. "Is something wrong, Ambassador?" she asked, careful to keep her tone neutral. All four of Zethral's eyes widened, focused on something beyond the room, a disturbance in the collective, most unusual. His gaze snapped back to Lyra with unsettling intensity. "We will adjourn for today." As the delegation filed out, Lyra caught a glimpse of one of Zethral's attendants leaning close to whisper something. The ambassador's skin darkened to near black, a color she'd never seen on a Vesharai before. "Commander," Delacroix murmured beside her, "the Vesharai mothership is powering weapons systems." Lyra's blood ran cold. Battle stations, quiet alert only, no visible preparations. She tapped her communication badge. "Bridge, this is Novak. Prepare for emergency jump, coordinates Delta 73, on my mark only." The ship's computer acknowledged with a soft chime as Lyra braced herself against the conference table. Something was very wrong. Her personal communicator vibrated against her wrist, an encrypted channel she rarely used. The message contained only coordinates and 3 words: "Truth finds way." "Thalion." "Lieutenant," Lyra said with measured calm, "I need you to trust me right now." Delacroix nodded without hesitation. "Always, Commander." "When I give the order, I need you to divert all non-essential power to the shields and execute a micro-jump to these coordinates." She transferred the numbers from her communicator. "No questions, no debate." "Understood." He studied the coordinates briefly. "That's dangerously close to the nebula boundary. Navigation will be compromised." "That's counting on," Lyra replied, already moving toward the bridge. The next hours passed in tense preparation. The Vesharai mothership maintained weapons lock but made no aggressive moves. Ambassador Zethral had ceased all communication. Just before ship's midnight, when skeleton crew manned most stations, a second message arrived. "Now." "Execute jump," Lyra ordered, her voice steady despite her racing heart. The Horizon Dawn shuddered as it tore through spacetime, emerging seconds later in a swirling cloud of cosmic dust that immediately played havoc with their sensors. Exactly as planned. "Status report," Lyra demanded, scanning the viewscreen for any sign of pursuit. "Shields at 87%, sensors degraded by nebula interference," Delacroix reported. "We're effectively running blind, Commander." "Perfect." Lyra tapped in a series of commands. "Power down all non-essential systems. Minimal life support only." The bridge dimmed as the ship went into low-power mode. In the eerie half-light, Lyra felt rather than saw her crew's nervous glances. "I know you have questions," she addressed the bridge staff, "and you deserve answers, but right now I need your trust and your silence." Before anyone could respond, a soft vibration ran through the ship, not the familiar pulse of their engines, but something external. "Unidentified vessel approaching," reported Ensign Prisha from Tactical. "Small craft, minimal power signature." "Hold position," Lyra ordered. "Prepare airlock 3 for emergency docking." She made her way quickly through the darkened corridors, heart pounding with each step. This was beyond career suicide. This was potentially treason. And yet each step felt right in a way that following Earth Command's aggressive directives never had. The airlock cycled with a hiss of equalizing pressure. As the inner doors slid open, Lyra found herself face to face with Thalion, but not as she remembered him. His normally vibrant skin was ashen, nearly translucent in places. The crown of tendrils that had once moved with such fluid grace now hung limply around his face, but his eyes, all 4 of them, burned with an intensity that took her breath away. "You came," he said simply. his translator struggling with what sounded like multiple harmonic layers in his voice. "You called," Lyra replied, fighting the urge to reach for him. "What happened?" "Reconditioning failed." Thalion's tendrils twitched weakly. "They could not extract you from my consciousness. The connection was too deep." Lyra swallowed hard. "And now? Now I am considered a corruption risk to the collective." His gaze held her steadily. "And you, by association, are deemed dangerous. Zethral has labeled the Horizon Dawn a threat to Vesharai stability." "So we're both fugitives," Lyra said, a hollow laugh escaping her. "Perfect." "Not perfect," Thalion agreed, a faint shimmer of color returning to his skin. "But perhaps necessary. There are others like me within the collective, those who question the suppression of individual connection." "A resistance?" Lyra asked, leading him toward her private quarters where they could speak freely. "An evolution," Thalion corrected. "You humans have changed us simply by existing. Your chaotic emotions, your unpredictable connections, they awaken something long dormant in our species." Inside her quarters, Lyra finally allowed herself to truly look at him. Despite his weakened state, he still carried himself with the same quiet dignity that had first drawn her attention. "What happens now?" she asked softly. Thalion's tendrils stirred, reaching hesitantly toward her face. "Now we must choose. I cannot return to the collective. You cannot return to Earth Command, not without sacrificing the truth between us." "And if we don't sacrifice it," Lyra's voice barely above a whisper, "then we create something new." His tendrils finally brushed her cheek, sending cascades of emotion through her: hope, fear, determination, and that uniquely Vesharai feeling she now recognized as devotion. Something neither human nor Vesharai has imagined before. Her communication panel chimed with a priority alert from Earth Command, no doubt demanding explanations for her unauthorized jump. Simultaneously, the ship's sensors detected 3 Vesharai vessels entering the nebula. Time had run out for easy choices. "Lieutenant Delacroix to Commander Novak," her badge chirped. "We need a decision." Lyra held Thalion's gaze as she tapped her communicator. "Plot a course beyond Vesharai space, Ryan, toward the unmapped sectors." "That's outside Federation jurisdiction, Commander," came the careful reply. "I'm aware." Lyra took a deep breath. "Anyone who wishes to remain within proper protocols may take the emergency shuttle back to the nearest outpost. No questions asked, no repercussions." A long pause followed before Delacroix responded. "The crew has voted, Commander. We're with you." Thalion's skin brightened visibly, pulses of light racing beneath the surface. "They feel your truth, just as I do." "Or they're all crazy," Lyra said with a smile that belied the tears in her eyes. "Perhaps that is what connection requires," Thalion replied, his tendrils gently framing her face. "A certain kind of beautiful madness." As the Horizon Dawn slipped deeper into uncharted space, Lyra Novak stood on the bridge with Thalion beside her, 2 beings from different worlds, united by a truth stronger than duty, stronger than protocols, stronger even than the vast emptiness that had once separated them. She had finally said it, and in saying it had changed everything. "Set course for the stars beyond the nebula, Lieutenant," she ordered, her hand finding Thalion's strange, alien fingers and interlacing with them. "Let's see what truths we find there." The Horizon Dawn surged forward, carrying its crew of explorers, human and Vesharai alike, toward a future neither species had dreamed possible. A future built not on diplomatic agreements or strategic advantages, but on the most revolutionary force in any universe. Connection,